Hi. So like quite a few people, I should be running the Western States 100 at the moment, but due to coronavirus, it got cancelled. Like a lot of people, I've invested a lot of time and energy trying to get into this race. 5 years it took me going through the lottery, every year qualifying, and this year I got pulled. And it probably wasn't the best year to get pulled, because I've had, in the last 18 months, a couple of pretty nasty injuries. The first one, which about 18 months ago, I broke a tiny little bone in my foot called a sesamoid bone, and had an operation on it about 12 months ago, and it was always going to be a really close call whether I could get the recovery in from the operation, and then on the chance I did get pulled in the Western States lottery, that I'd then be fit enough to actually run it. Just as I was starting to ramp the training up in December, I then managed to tear the meniscus in my opposite knee. So gave it about 12 weeks, saw a couple of specialists, knowing the pull of the Western States, how hard it is to get in. Made the decision to have the operation, have the meniscus repaired, knowing that it would be a really tight time scale to then be ready for the Western States. It would have given me essentially about 12 weeks to get ready. So not impossible, but a stretch when you consider that I hadn't run anything really since the Mont Blanc Marathon end of June last year. So when the race got cancelled, in some ways it was a blessing in disguise, because I was never going to be at my peak fitness. And I guess what's happened since then is, without the motivation to actually be going for a race, kind of let myself go a little bit. Training hasn't really gone all that well, piled on a few kilos, and kind of struggled to find the motivation really to start training for the race. But I thought today would be a really good day just to put a stake in the ground, because essentially I've got a year to get ready for Western States 2021. And I'm in a really fortunate position, because most people that are running this race, they don't get a year to prepare. You get 6 months. So what I'm going to do is do a series of vlogs to document my progress to Western States 2021, because it makes me accountable for the goals that I've got to set. Two main goals really. One is to get to the start line fit and uninjured, the uninjured bit being the key point. The second one is I have to be in the best shape I've ever been in my life. I'm currently 111 kilos. You can probably tell how unfit I am. I'm getting a sweat on and panting just going up this hill. So that's the plan. I don't know how regular the videos are going to be. Certainly monthly, whether I do them weekly, bi-weekly. I'm trying to include a bit of stuff about the gear, nutrition, all the stuff I'm going to be using, and just really update on training and how it's going. So a couple of things before I finish up on this first video. First thing that struck me this week, it was 33 degrees here in England on Wednesday, and it was the first time that I realised actually that's how hot it's going to be in Western States. The forecast I think for Auburn was 37 degrees, so the heat we had wasn't even as hot as it's going to be. I did go out for a run that day and it was fairly brutal, so heat acclimatisation is going to be a pretty big factor for next summer. I did the MDS a few years ago, so I kind of got an idea on what I need to do to get ready for the heat. The second thing is, and this is probably going to be my biggest choice, is footwear, because I've got odd feet, really big, quite wide. I've got my banker, which is the Hoka Torrent, which I wore for TDS a couple of years ago, and I also wore it for the Mont Blanc Marathon. Really good shoe, loads of room, enough cushion for what I think I need. But there's a couple of other shoes that I'm going to be trying. One is the new Nike Pegasus 2 that's just come out, and the other one is the one that I'm currently wearing, which is this one, the Speedgoat 4. So I've always been past Speedgoats because they've been a bit narrow, or the people that have reviewed them always said they've been a bit narrow. I tried the wide fit and I actually found it too wide, so I've gone with the standard fit and they feel pretty good. Well, they'll be good for when your feet start to swell in an ultra, I'm not sure, but certainly on the sort of 10-mile runs that I've been doing so far, they feel pretty nice. Loads of cushion, they feel good across the top on the downhills, not getting any pressure across the laces or anything like that, which is what I sometimes get. So these are feeling pretty good. So yeah, we'll see what in 12 months time is the shoe of choice.